Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And we're going to be talking with Frank Pollack, offensive line coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. And boy, one of the big subjects, Aaron Donald. In my mind, freak. 6'1", 280 pounds, runs a sub-4 740. Defensive tackle in the National Football League. A genetic phenomenon. And it all started with Geno Atkins with the Bengals. I mean, he came out of Georgia undersized. People are like, he can't play in the NFL. Well, Bengals take him in the fourth round. He slides all the way to the fourth round. Look at the career he had. Same type of dimensions as Aaron Donald. So he paved the way for Aaron Donald. The Bengals are going to have to figure out a way to block him. And then Frank Pollack has got that done. Offensive line, going to have a big day. So they've got pass rushers on Miller, Floyd, Aaron Donald. Going to have to run the football some so you can play action pass, take care of business on first and second down, stay out of third and long, throw the football because you want to, not because you have to. That's going to be the deciding factor in the football game. Frank Pollack knows all about that. Welcome to this episode of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And we are in the trenches. We are in the trenches with Bengals offensive line coach Frank Pollack as our special guest. In the trenches as the Bengals get ready for Super Bowl 56. How about that, Coach? Going to the Super Bowl, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting. We're fired up.
No question. No doubt about it. And you should be. When you take your experiences as a player, playing with the 49ers, with the great Joe Montana, and now your experiences as a coach, I mean, how do you do anything differently as you prepare for the Super Bowl, or is there anything learned, or is it just, do what you've done? What's your mindset going into this thing?
Preparation, I think, stays the same. The biggest thing I try to share with the guys is there's a lot more outside noise and distraction that's built up, and rightfully so, for this game. I mean, it's like our nation's pastime, our passion, right? But that's not for us, right? That's for everyone else. We're there to play the game. Everyone wishes they were there playing the game. So you got to really tune out the noise, and you got to really learn to say the word no. You're going to be pulled a lot of different directions. Handle the logistics early for your family and friends, and then cut the cord, say no, and let's lock down, and then have all the fun stuff after the victory, after the game.
So you did play with the great Joe Montana, and you got a quarterback by the name of Joe Burrow, two Joes.
Yeah.
Are there similarities to their play other than having the same first name?
Yeah, poise. I mean, Joe Cool comes to mind. Nothing rattles Burrow, nothing rattled Montana. I mean, just the poise, the coolness, always calm, cool, and collected. It's unreal. It's impressive. Real impressive.
The fact that he never flinches, when he appreciates the physicality of the game, and not a whole lot of quarterbacks do. I mean, his dad was a defensive coordinator. He's got a couple of brothers that played on the defensive side of football at a high level, at Nebraska. I mean, when he was not playing much at Ohio State at quarterback, he asked Urban Meyer if he could cover kickoffs. And Urban Meyer's like, nah, we're not going to do that, Joe. But that's how he feels about football. I mean, as a line coach, an offensive line coach, and your offensive lineman, do you appreciate that about Joe?
Absolutely. He is all ball 100%. Everything that football means and represents, he's all about that. It's truly a ball guy, and it's really cool to be around. It's really a lot of fun. The fellas really love blocking and playing for a guy like that. Absolutely.
So a lot of buzz, Coach, about your decision to play a couple of right guards, down the stretch here, taking a look at, Adeniji and Carman at that position, splitting time a little bit. In the last football game, in the AFC Championship game, it was like 51%, 49%. I mean, it couldn't have been any closer to splitting snaps. What was your thought process behind that, sir?
Well, I felt like both guys have been working hard and still, their development curve is still on the up arc there. And I thought both guys were deserving of some playing time. And we obviously had a big hiccup the previous game we needed to do something a little bit different. I thought maybe rotating those guys, keeping them fresh as much as possible, maybe just giving a different look to the defenders as well. And went back old school with Paul Brown messenger guards, so brought it back. I'll come
sir.
full circle.
That's right. It came full circle. No doubt about it. Isaiah Prince, tell us about how proud you must be of what Isaiah Prince has done at the right tackle position, with Riley Reif, unfortunately, having the injury that has caused him to miss the rest of the year.
Right. It's super proud of this guy. I mean, he was an undrafted free agent. He sat out last year because of the whole COVID stuff. He's got some health issues that he felt was best for him to do that. And he really worked on himself, came back, and no one really knew what this guy was about. And he's been working hard since the day he showed up this season. And he's done an outstanding job replacing Riley Reif, which is not always easy to do there. So, but he's done a really good job. He's been battling, and Lord knows he's faced some top edge rushers, and he's held his own. Really, really proud of him. Really proud of him.
I mean, he's very long. He's got super length to his arms, and he's athletic. He seems to move pretty well, and he plays hard. He finishes, doesn't he, Coach?
He does. He strains. He finishes. It showed up in preseason games right away that he'll go out there and get after it and strain the finish guys. And he's got tremendous feet along with his length, and so he's excellent initial quicks and bursts to close the space and get on defenders. And then, pair that with his length, he's got some really great tools to continue to develop and work with. He's done a nice job.
Normally teams that make the Super Bowl, their offensive line has stayed pretty much intact, with respect to lack of injury. And Riley Reif, you end up losing him. And then there's the uncertainty at the right guard position with respect to how much guys are going to play and who's going to play. And you'd like to have in a perfect world, you'd like to have 5 guys operating as one, the old fist. You don't think about curling your fingers, wrapping your thumb. It just happens. Everybody has a feel for what the other guy's doing. I think it's a heck of a testament to you as a coach to be able to just have guys step up and get into a football game as big as an AFC championship game and perform at the level that they did. That really is a testament to you and the way your players have bought into what you're teaching, Coach.
Well, those guys do a great job. They've been working hard all year. Lord knows I grind on them, and they respond the right way. And I couldn't be more proud of that group. It doesn't always have to be pretty, especially up in the trenches. You just got to get the job done, find a way. And you got to lean on each other. Like you mentioned, it's all about being a good, tight-knit unit. And no one in that unit wants to be the guy to let the unit down. And they've done a really nice job as far as bonding that way, and then holding each other accountable that way. And, like I said, they're really, really proud of them. The credit belongs to how hard they've worked and stayed on top of all that stuff.
We've talked about this before. When I watch you, like at training camp with all the guys, all the drills, the practices, it brings me right back to Jim McNally. Because we, in OTAs, mini camp, training camp, regular season, all the way to Super Bowl 16 that I was fortunate enough to play in, we did the same drills to start every single day before practice. I mean, the offensive line get together, do all these things before practice. Same every single day. We'd be out there for 20 minutes, and we knew exactly what we're going to do, how we were going to do it. And that repetition, it gave us so much confidence. Are you doing the same things now as you get ready to go and practice out there in California for the Super Bowl 56 as you did in mini camps in the off season?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you mentioned there, it's repetition. It's practicing. Bruce Lee had a famous quote, practice one kick 10,000 times. He doesn't fear the man that practices 10,000 kicks once. He fears the man that practices one kick 10,000 times. It's truly the epitome of mastering the mundane, his offensive line play. And it takes those repetitions. I always in my meetings point out other offensive linemen when they make fundamental and technique mistakes. And some of them are great Pro Bowl players. Some of them are making mistakes in last week's games. Okay. And I'm pointing that out and saying, look, it's a simple combination on the backside that we practiced all the time, and they're busting it in the biggest games of their lives. Why? Is it focus? Is it lack of repetition? So you don't need to do anything special. Just make the ordinary extraordinary. Right. And I experienced it as a player my rookie year playing in the NFC Championship game against the Giants when I was with the Niners. We're driving down the field in a 4-minute situation to ice the game, practically in field goal range. And there's like a little less than 2 minutes to go. I don't know, minute 40, whatever it was. And we got split on a backside combination between the center and guard, and the nose guard split that combo and hit our back in the backfield as he was getting the ball, and he fumbled. And the Giants got the ball and then drove down 2 minutes and kicked the game-winning field goal. And they went to the Super Bowl. All because we didn't master to the very end the most simplistic, mundane, boring combination. Never take it for granted. The most boring things is going to bite in the ass if you don't master it. And it doesn't change from week 1 to week 20, whatever this is. So all it is just going out there and having the detail, the focus, right? And the passion and excitement about doing it over and over and over, because that's what wins ball games in this league.
Boy, that's a great point, Coach. As a lineman, I used to, and I still do watch, lineman tape, and you'll see a very talented athlete, lineman, but sometimes his technique, it looks like he's a balloon that air's being let out. He's going everywhere. I mean, his technique's just not. There's nothing to. There's no consistency to the technique. He's just so gifted athletically. He can handle people. But then you get a guy like Anthony Munoz who has those physical traits, but then Jim McNally molded, into all the and it's like watching a highly performing engine machine. It's like wow, it's unbelievable. And really people don't understand how important approaching technique the exact same way, doing it to the exact same finish every single snap, and makes or breaks players, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A good pro is a consistent pro. He's the same day in and day out. And that's emotionally and from a technique standpoint. You can only get by so long being a more talented guy. Your careers aren't going to last. You're going to be inconsistent. You're going to always have someone who might be more talented. Right. When it's in the fourth quarter and you're dog ass tired and the game's on the line, you're going to lean on your fundamentals and technique. Period.
So you, like I said, we're fortunate to play with one of the greatest of all time, Joe Montana. Did you have a feel? I mean, and Joe Burrow seems to be giving this to his teammates. No matter the situation, down 21-3 in Kansas City, on the road, in the AFC Championship game, not out of the game, come back. I mean, did Joe Montana obviously give that kind of attitude to everybody? And is Joe Burrow in that same fold?
Absolutely. It's amazing the confidence and never wavering, knowing that we've got the ability to overcome any obstacle and having confidence. When players and teams play with confidence, it's really exciting to be a part of that. And back when I was playing, Joe Montana brought that, and Joe Burrow's got every bit of that. You can feel it, you can sense it. No one blinks. No one's ever counting us out ever. It's unreal. It's impressive. The resolve that this team has, and a lot of that's attributed to Joe Burrow. That's his influence.
Let's talk a little AFC Championship game first, Coach, and then head to the Super Bowl. The performance of the offensive line against the Kansas City Chiefs, having that comeback, the way you guys came back and ultimately won that football game. What was it? How did it click for the offensive line? 21-3, it was tough sledding there in the first half for the football team in general. But man, when you guys got on track, defense made some adjustments, made some great adjustments, went to that rush 3 and 4, dropped 7 and 8, and really confused pre-snap, post-snap, and Mahomes didn't know what he was looking at. But if stopping them is just one part of the equation, you have to start scoring points and get yourself back in that football game. Right. What adjustments did you guys make, or was it just guys executing better on things that you were calling?
I think us executing it better. We had that real big screen, that pop for a touchdown.
Yep.
We had a couple good key blocks on that by the line. Did a really nice job being where they needed to be and executing. And then just guys staying focused. It's like you can only control what you control, and that's one play at a time. And then execute the next play. Assess, call it cycle of the snap. You don't control the scoreboard, right? You just control how you're going to execute on this current play. Once it's over, you assess, learn, and then move on. Flush it out and play the next play. Don't worry about anything else, but just do that. And when the game's over, we'll look up at the scoreboard and be happy with the results most of the time. And that's really at the bottom line is, locking in. When we're on the sidelines, don't listen to what the crowd's doing. Don't scoreboard watch. Lock in. Be focused on what we're about ready to go out and do on our next drive. Things we want to talk about and put in, make the adjustment made on the sideline, and go out and execute those. That's what we can control. That's what our team needs from us, as an offensive line. That's what we need to focus on. And our guys have done a really nice job at that. Credit to those guys to be able to do that.
Coach, it seems like, everybody in the NFL has really good pass rushers, and a lot of people have great edge rushers. But, man, as you get your way through the playoffs and you're down to the final two now, you work your way from, 8 to 4 to 2. Everybody has pass rushers across the board. Interior pass rushers. Simmons, beast at Tennessee. Jones, beast with the Kansas City Chiefs. But now, 99, Aaron Donald. I don't know. He's a Martian. I don't think the guy's human. How do you block this dude, man?
That's a great question. He's a special player. He's extremely talented. He's got a great motor, and he's probably has the best hands out of any interior defender, maybe any D lineman that I've seen in years. His hand use, his placement, how he can pull himself through. He's excellent with his hands, and he's got enough athleticism and burst where he can close the distance. If he gets on an edge, a lot of guys can get to an edge, but they can't close. He can do that. He can get to an edge and close instantly. He can generate power on a snap. If you stop one move, he can drop his hips and power through your inside shoulder if it ever got high or turned. He's a challenge that way. So you got to be on top of your game. You got to play with length. You got to play square. You can't lunge at all and get your weight out of your foundation, out of your center mass. And, and you got to have schemes that you're going to have to help. So we've got a variety of ways to do that. He sees it all the time, but he still finds a way to do what he's looking to do. So it's going to be fun. What else could you ask for from a matchup and play against great players?
Telling you, he's something. He's very, very unique. He's got his skill set is, boy, all those boxes are checked. I remember we played against the San Diego Chargers, and I was lined up against Gary Big Hands Johnson, who was named Big Hands for a reason, man. He had muckers now. It was like a ham with 5 hot dogs hanging off that bad boy. I got good sized hands, but his were like, man, when he grabbed you, it was like, whoo, man, that's a claw. What the heck is this?
You ever give the old head slap?
Oh yeah, he hit right in the ear hole, man. That was legal then. I was like,
I know.
Oh, so yeah, So Jim McNally goes, look, you got to get on the line with this guy. We're talking vertical and horizontal split. You can get 2 feet away from the center, the guard, the tackle's 2 feet away from the guard or whatever. But then you can crowd the line of scrimmage or you can back off. You have to have your helmet at the back of the numbers of the center. You can't get too far off the line or they'll penalize you for illegal formation, whatever. And Jimmy goes, get as close as you can to the line of scrimmage. So I got up, literally, I got in a 2-point stance and I walked up where my toes were on the football. And I squatted, but I had my head back, and I literally was I was probably a half an inch off the line. And as soon as the ball was down, boom, I would just try to jam him, get my hands on him right away, because his whole thing was shake and bake stuff.
Yeah.
But Donald gets on that way out, your outside shoulder and almost a 4-eye.
Yeah.
And when he gets to your shoulder, he's like you said, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah. And he's so quick on that first step. So I guess I think if I were thinking about blocking him, I'd be, all right, I got to get off the line a little bit to get a little bit better angle and maybe not let him get to my shoulder. But then if he bull rushes me, I don't want to give him all that space. That dude's a problem, man. He's a problem.
No question. I kind of always compare pass sets a lot, similarities to Major League Baseball pitchers. You want to give them different pitches. You can't just be a fastball pitcher. You got to give them a curve. You got to give him a changeup, a slider. You got to get something, right? Every now and then you got to give him a brushback pitch to the side of the head. Let him know, right?
Right.
So that's the thing with your pass sets. Some of those are inherent on the type of pass, whether it's a 3-step drop or a play action, right? So you always want to change it up. You're changing it up with your set angles. You change it up with your variety of hand strikes. So they're never just getting a beat on one thing. You're making him have to adjust to you as opposed to you adjusting to him as much as possible.
the thing is with these defensive lines that you're facing, going all the way through the playoffs to the Super Bowl, it's like they got more than one guy.
Right.
Tennessee had more than one guy. Kansas City, more than one guy. These guys, I mean, they got Aaron Donald, they got Von Miller, they got Floyd. All those guys have at least 9.5 sacks, and Donald has what, 12.5, 13.5, 9.5 on the other two. I mean, it's like, boy, you can't double everybody, and that's what makes this so difficult, doesn't it?
It's the ultimate team sport, man. It's going to take all 11 guys to beat the 11 of their defense. It doesn't get any easier. So it makes it so much fun and exciting.
I'm telling you. So I guess though, if I'm wondering, you have a situation where Raheem Morris, he comes from the same school as Staley, with the Chargers, the Vic Fangio kind of defensive school a little bit, and they all have their own little wrinkles, their own little twists, and all that. But how beneficial is it to the coaching staff to at least have some kind of core principles, that might be similar, some sort of a strain through those defenses where, okay, you played Denver, you played the Los Angeles Chargers, and now you're playing these guys. There are differences, obviously, but are there some similarities when you're preparing?
Yeah, there's some similarities for sure. And there's some nuanced differences as well that they tweak with their own philosophies on those. But it helps. Obviously, you've got some familiarity with the core principles of the defense and the best way to attack that. So that definitely helps. But every game they're going to have some little wrinkle. We're always ready we're going to have to have maybe a sideline adjustment if we didn't already address on some of the speculations that maybe we feel maybe be an adjustment. But yeah, those core tenets of that defense, it's helped to have gone against that already this year for sure.
I think you look at a game like this. They've got a great pass rush. Our defense has a pretty good pass rush too, and I think they're going to challenge the Rams' offensive line. I mean, I think it's going to boil down to, which football team will be throwing the football because they want to, not because they have to. Which team's handling first and second down and staying out of that third and long situation where the defense has now earned the right to rush the passer. And man, you know what that's like as a lineman. It's like, oh boy, here they come, pinning their ears back. I mean, I think it's going to be, a lot of things like that. It's not just, this one-on-one matchup is going to decide the football game. There's a lot of factors, and I think it's going to be how you handle first and second down. That's where our good friend and this guy thinks the world of you, as you know, Coach. Joe Mixon's going to have a big say, and Samaje P on the other back. But Joe gets his touches. Joe's going to have a lot to say about what happens on first and second down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the ultimate team game. It's all success has happened because you got all three units working together and all 11 guys on a unit working together, and that comes right down to us as a unit. We're as well working as a five of us as a line. But it's the ultimate team game. Not one person needs to do anything special. It's just guys working, knowing your role, excelling in your role, and how you fit in that team aspect.
Coach, at what point did you think, and no one can predict, I mean, this football team, it's the greatest turnaround in the history of the National Football League. Mm-hmm. Go from 2-14 to 4-11-1, 6-25-1, all the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, nobody can project that. But at what point, you've been with some great football teams, you've been part of great football teams. At what point in the season did you think, you know what? This team's got a little something to it, man. It's got a little fiber. It's got a little something cooking. It's got a little chemistry. Did you have any feel any point during the season where this might work out special?
Yeah, for me, was the first Baltimore game on the road. Knowing the history of that game from the last couple years, and then knowing how good the Ravens are on the road, and for what we were able to do out there on the road, and showing the resolve. This team's got incredible resolve. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this team's got something special. We got really good chemistry in the locker room, which again is a big credit to the head coach and the players buying in, and they pull for each other. They pick each other up. Guys lean on each other. Units lean on the other unit. It was that game for me. I'm like, man, we got something special going here. We got to keep this thing going. I'd say this is the Baltimore game, first one.
in Kansas City, coach, for the AFC Championship game. Our booth is right next door to the Bengals coaches. And before the game, I saw all the coaches, kind of get together. Everybody put a hand in. I mean, it was kind of, it was great to see the bond going on there. And then after the game, oh my gosh, man, it was awesome to see all the coaches celebrating, going crazy. Because people don't realize, man, how much time you guys put into this. The amount of effort that you put into coaching at this level in the National Football League. How many hours a week do you think you put in on a normal week? And now it's probably increasing as you get to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. But I guess almost like a player, you want to keep it pretty much the same in terms of how you are preparing. Don't overthink it, don't over prepare. But on a normal week, and even this a week like this one, how many hours do you think, Coach?
I don't know. It's a lot. It's long hours. It is what it is. You just put your head down and go, man. It's a hell of a deal. I tell you, it beats working for a living. So
yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's cool that you mentioned that with those guys celebrating. It's one of the first things that hit my head was being on the side. It was so neat to see the players celebrate, and go crazy. It's just cool to see those guys, all the hard work that they put in and grind, and it's such a reward for me as a coach to see those guys be able to do that and celebrate. And I mean, get a big hug from Joe Mixon, and he was so emotional after the win. I was telling him to take it all in, man. Stand up, you've earned this. This is a heck of a deal, man. I'm so happy for those guys, and so that's cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing. So I don't, the hours we put in. This is the reward. It's all well worth it.
I hear that, Coach. The one that watching Mike Brown go up to the podium to accept that Lamar Hunt Trophy, the AFC Championship. Known him for a long time, a lot of years, and an 86-year-old man to be able to experience that, with his children, his grandchildren now in the organization. It's 3 generations, in the organization. It's truly a family operation.
Right.
That felt good to see him, get up there and have his day.
Absolutely. I really love the Brown family. Those guys, they're great. It's old school. It's just what the league used to be, and there's just a few of those families around. It's a family-run business, and he's all ball. I mean, he's really, obviously the tone of that it stems from him, and he respects coaches. He lets coaches do their thing. A lot of the new teams and the ownership's a little bit different. I know the head coach talked about his patience and how it's paid off. We're appreciative of that, and it's just great. It's super excited for him and his family, for those guys, for them to experience that. We got to make sure we get this next one for them, and really cool. That's what I love about this place the most, is that it's old school, it's family run. They treat people well here, and I just like how they roll. It's like how they do business. It's not just corporate America where you're just another number, and if you don't win right away, get the next guy in here. They respect and understand the process that we all put in and go through as here, and I love being a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I'll guarantee you, one of the first things that Mike Brown thought about as he was going up to that podium was his dad, the legendary Paul Brown. And it reminds me of, he was my first head coach for, my first few seasons in the NFL. And I remember vividly when we got in the playoffs, my first year I was a starter, we had a good team. We won 11-3, and we're going to play in the playoffs against the Raiders, who were eventual Super Bowl champions. We lost a tough game out there by a field goal out there on the coast. But I remember before the game, he said, gentlemen, Bill Walsh, who was our offensive coordinator, and I we're deciding what we're going to do. But I am going to tell you this. We're not going to do a whole bunch of new things. What's gotten us to this point is we're doing a few things very, very well. And we're going to do some of those same things, but we're going to make the same things look different and different things look the same. And I just sat back and I thought, that is brilliant. I mean, you might have a different matchup for the quarterback. It might be a receiver on a slot corner at one play, but then it's a running back on a linebacker. Same throw for the quarterback, same blocking for the lineman. Make the same things look different things look the same. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the brilliance is the simplicity that you as a coach can present and make the game for the players. And it's, that's truly the art of coaching, and taking something that may look complex, or maybe it is complex, but making it simplistic, and it fits what you do and it's what you've already been doing. So that's one of the fun parts about coaching, and that's the essence of what our job is. You got to make it easy for the players so they can play fast and violent. And we don't want them slowing them down because you're trying to do too much and it's getting out of their bailiwick,
And Coach, I'll get you out of here on this. I mean, obviously you've got players, young players in the offensive line. We talked about Prince, we talked about Adeniji, we talked about Carman. The fact that they can go out there and perform the level that they're going out there and performing at speaks to the fact that you've got a set of rules, and you've got principles that apply to a whole bunch of different things. And that helps players. I mean, I've been there, man. That helps big time. And, when you can help offensive linemen not be confused and be confident, there's nothing worse than, I think this is right. And if you're approaching it that way, you've made a wrong decision. Even if ultimately it was the right decision, if you're that hesitant, it's the wrong decision, Right. And your guys are, man, they're confident. They're making a decision and staying with it and confident about it. And that's a testament to you, Coach Frank Pollack, and you're as good as it gets.
I appreciate that. I have a little phrase I kind of live by in here as well, and it's probably more for me than the players, but consternation free. I want our room to be consternation free.
That's great.
I remember that as a player, and I'm a Northern Arizona University C student. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I know what I am. And so if it's confusing to me, it's probably going to be confusing to players. If it's too difficult for me to grasp and master, then it's probably going to be that way for the players. Not all of them. We got some smart guys in the room. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, silly, right? I don't know the other word these days. Sometimes my wife says you can't say that word anymore.
Right. I hear you, Coach.
But so just let them go play fast, man, and let's go. Have confidence. You've earned the right to be confident. Now just turn it loose. Turn it loose, man. Play violent and let it loose and be relentless. It's amazing how much I just hit our guys today. We watched some tape, some situational stuff that we do on our Fridays. This is our Friday for this week.
Right.
And then just watching how guys not hustling lazy. There was a ball on the ground and they're not hustling, but one guy did. And situationally worked out because he hustled. It's like more guys, even at this level, just play hard, let it loose, and play hard and be relentless. And it's amazing how much success you have. You know what I'm saying? And so part of that is freeing their mind and let them play fast where they're not overthinking, so they can be that and can do that. So,
yeah, I do remember, Coach, that the preseason was one speed, regular season another, and then playoffs. And when you get to the Super Bowl, it's the Autobahn, man. Woo, they're flying. Yeah. I mean, you got to make quick. Everything's got to be faster. You got to be a tick faster with everything. And man, there's no doubt. And I feel fully confident that your guys are going to go out there mentally and physically fast. Quick decisions, get after it, and finish, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the offensive line. I'm excited for you, Coach. And I can't wait. I wish the game were tomorrow, but it's not. Coach, can't thank you enough. Put together a good one. And how about being world champions? Super Bowl 56 champions, Cincinnati Bengals. I like the sound of that. That would be awesome.
Let's go get it.
Great one, sir. Appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Breaks? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.